What is up, you beautiful, beautiful people? So, welcome to our first month recap. Let me actually turn this up a bit. So this is our first monthly recap video, and I just wanted to, before we get into it, explain what's going on here and what this video is going to be about. So, at the end of every month, I'm going to do a recap video. I'm just going to talk about how the month went, how I'm feeling, how our progress went, and then how I physically look. Because I feel like when you're working out daily, you don't really see the change in yourself. So it would be good for me to be able to look back on these videos to be able to see the progress. So for this one, anyway, we're here in my home office. I think next time we'll do it like this video right here. You see this one when we're out? I think that would be cool to do our second month's one over here. Just a little bit of a better view, do you know what I mean? But again, this is my first one, so it's going to be kind of awkward until I figure out how to do these videos, these weekly or monthly recaps. But this is the first monthly recap video, like I say, so I'm going to be figuring out how to do these. This is our first one. It's going to be weird and awkward, but it is what it is. But if you're new to this channel, let me just give you a quick, since this is our first monthly recap, a quick little backstory of where we're up to right now. So this is a picture of me last year, around this time last year, and I was getting to the point where I was in just the worst shape of my life, to be completely honest with you. And it wasn't just the size of me, like I wasn't that big, I was definitely out of shape, but it was more just the physical, mental, just health in general. Like I was unfit. There's no way I'd be able to run, let alone go hiking. Oh, I should say there's no way I'd be able to hike, let alone go running. And I was drinking too much, I was addicted to nicotine, I was vaping at this point. Eating absolute junk food all the time. My diet was awful. And I just didn't exercise at all. Like it was just a low point of my life as far, I wasn't sad, I wasn't depressed or anything like that. It was just a natural kind of like low point that I needed to just like, okay, snap out of this, what the bloody hell are you doing? So anyway, it wasn't really a New Year's resolution, but I remember telling one of my mates on New Year's Eve, I was like, I'm cutting back on drinking this year. Like next year, I don't like getting too old for this. You know what I mean? Just going out getting drunk every week or like once a week. I was just getting, like, it was just pointless. So anyway, I wasn't able to just quit alcohol or just quit going out right there and then. So basically what happened is January, February, March, like basically I cut it back from, instead of going out like once a week, I was doing it like once, maybe twice a month. And then it was like once a month. And then starting in June, I bought a treadmill, this one right here, and I started doing 30 minutes a day on that treadmill, and I absolutely hated it. Treadmill is not for me, and it's not for everybody, and it was awful, and I honestly would rather run 10 miles than do 30 minutes on that treadmill. But it was a great start. It got me into just getting into that groove, that repetition of doing something daily for 30 minutes. So from that first picture, I was like 199 pounds. I'm sure I hit 200, but I had never seen it with my own eyes. And then from June, doing like 30 minutes a day on that treadmill and cutting back on alcohol and starting to eat a little bit better, less junk food. By the time I went on my family vacation in August, I was at 177 pounds. So I had lost around 25 pounds from December until August. Then honestly, I got back from my vacation in August, and September I really didn't do anything. I was weighing myself like almost daily just because I knew I wasn't exercising, but I was like, I need to just keep weighing myself because if I start going up again, I need to get back on it. And I did. I gained not a lot, probably around 4 pounds. And I was like, okay, no, let's continue on with this. So basically, I think it was like October 1st, I was like, you know what, let's get back on the treadmill again. September was kind of a write-off, you know, you're on your vacation blues, you've been on vacation having a great time, you get home, you're like, ugh. But then in October, I was like, let's start this up again. And I was about to go out on the treadmill again, and I'm like, you know what? No, let's go on a hike. Let's go for a walk. If you've been following along my weekly fitness journey videos, you'll see there's some beautiful places around near where I live. And I just wanted to go for a walk. So I started off doing 2 miles. I would walk a mile, turn around, and come back. And that was my exercise. I did that every day for about 3 days. And then I was like, you know what, I can do more than that. Don't get me wrong, the first day was actually pretty difficult. Now looking back on it, like right now I could do that easily, but that's just how fitness progress works, right? But I did a mile, walked out a mile, turned around, came back a mile. So it was 2 miles, it took me about 35 minutes. So then I started upping it. So I went from 2 miles to 3 miles, and I would do that. And then it was 4 miles, and then it was 5 miles. And then I was getting better and better. And then I found I had to create kind of my own trail. Like I was following the trails, but I would like, obviously there's dozens of different trails you can go on. So I finally found one that was around 6 miles. And I was like, this is good. It's a good mix of distance, time, and difficulty. Because on my daily runs that I do now, or trail running, so sometimes it's hiking, there's up to 1,000 feet of elevation throughout the whole thing. Not just all at once going up 1,000 foot, but it's up, down, and it's a good technical, not too difficult, but it's got a good mix. So anyway, I'm rambling now. Basically what I'm trying to say is I got up to 6 miles, and I'm like, this is good time, distance, difficulty. So I started doing that every day, and then I just started doing it faster. I was like, okay, I'm hiking this every day. Once I got to a point where I was comfortable and I could do it, I was like, let's do it the same thing, but faster. So that's what I did, and I ended up just power walking the entire 6 miles. And then I did that for about a week. The last week of October, I basically power walked that thing every day, and it got to the point where I was power walking so fast, I'm like, I feel like I can just start running. Like, I was like, I want to run. I was like, but I don't know. It had been years. By the way, I'm talking like 15, 16 years since I had ran. So then one day, I think it was like the last day of October, or maybe it's like a couple days before the end of October. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try running. This was before November came in. I was like, I'm gonna try running, and we'll see how I can physically do, because it had been so long since I did it. So I ran for about a minute, and then I had to stop and walk for like 2 minutes. Like I felt heavy. My muscles weren't used to running, and I just couldn't do it. I ended up running a mile, but I ran for a minute, walked for a minute, ran for a minute, walked for a minute, and that's what I did, just to get an idea of how physically active I could be. So anyway, after that, my legs and everything hurt for like 2-3 days, which is understandable. But then November, and I was like, you know what, November, my goal is to be able to run this thing by the end of November. So at this point, I'm around 175 pounds going into November. And I told myself I'm not going to weigh myself only once a month. It's only going to be when I do these videos I'm going to weigh myself, because I'm not going to do it. You know, you fluctuate so much, I just don't want to do it. So anyway, I was 175 pounds going into November, and I started running. And I ran every single day, doing like 3 minutes, and then walk a minute, 3 minutes, walk a minute, or 4 minutes, walk a minute. And I kept doing that the first, basically 10 days of November. And I would keep pushing myself, and it wasn't just the first mile, it was the entire 6. I would be running, then walking, then running, then walking. And trail running is like that anyway. A lot of people, even if you're a great runner, you run like 90% of it, and then you hike 10%, because there's a lot of uphills and downhills that are pretty steep. But anyway, I was pushing myself, and I went, I think it was, let me actually have a look at my board. Yeah, so I just looked at it. I did 2 weeks without a break, without a rest day. 2 weeks of pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. And I completely messed up, you know. I was trying to push myself, and I ended up injuring myself. Like, my hips were in agony, my knees were in agony, and I didn't realize it had just been so long since I had ran. I thought I was just stiff, you know? It's like, oh, I'm fine, I'm just a little stiff, and eventually it'll get out. I didn't listen to my body. I was in pain. I remember like the 13th day in a row of running. I was running and I was like, ow, ooh, ooh, it was stiff. And then the first mile, after the first mile, you kind of loosen up, but it's probably the adrenaline, to be honest with you, that you just can't feel it anymore. But anyway, literally like on the 14th day mark, like 2 weeks, I was done. I couldn't even hike, I couldn't even go out and exercise. I was literally home for 2 weeks recovering. It hurt to walk around the house, it hurt to walk up and down the stairs. It was bad. I should have listened to my body. But anyway, I took 2 weeks off. And then if you watch these videos, my weekly fitness journeys, the very first week is where that started. It started from me coming out of that injury and slowly trying to put myself back into getting on the ball again. So because of that injury, I feel like I wasn't able to get to where I wanted, which was to be able to basically run the entire thing. But we've had some incredible milestones. If you saw last week's video that I posted on Sunday, which is a couple days ago, we ran our first mile without stopping. It was great. It was great. But I feel like these videos, just me standing in front of a blue background, is going to be quite boring. So I may do these monthly recaps outside somewhere going forward. So anyway, let's take a look at what I look like right now, because this is what I want. So it's mainly for me, but obviously there's people that are following along this journey at home too. So I want to be able to see how I look, because that's a good, obviously I feel much better and I can run much further, but I want to be able to see physically how I change throughout the months, right? Because obviously me, myself, looking at myself, you can tell a little bit, But I think if I record it and post it, then I can look back on this next month and compare the two and just see the differences. I think it'll be cool. So let's take a look. This will be awkward, but we gotta do it. All right, so here we go. This is our first month recap. So the whole point in this is so that I can look back on this, and anyone out there that's looking for motivation can look back on this and just see how far we've come. So this is the first one, so obviously a bit awkward, but it is what it is, okay? And I feel like, so I'm one of those people that my entire life, I walk around, I always tense. Like it's always tense. Like just my whole life. I've just always done it like that. I've just always been tense. I've never been able to just relax. But I feel like I need to have a relaxed one just so I can see like a comparison. Beer belly. This thing needs to go. I don't drink beer anymore though, so. So anyway, there it is. My first month. Gonna look back on this and compare it next month. So hopefully I'm watching this in the video and we can see some big progress. Alright. Yeah, so anyway, there's that part done. So now what we're gonna do, why do I feel like I need to go down here now? We're gonna weigh myself for the first time in a month and I'm gonna bring you guys with me and we'll just see how much I weigh. I'm not nervous because I really don't care, but I remember the reason I stopped weighing myself was because I was 175 and I was hiking every single day for October and I was eating better, I was exercising, I wasn't eating snacks, I wasn't drinking alcohol, and I didn't move. I stayed 175, like it didn't move, and I'm like, it was so demotivating, even though the losing weight isn't the main factor here. I'm losing weight because I'm exercising and getting fit. I'm not exercising and getting fit to lose weight. I just want to be clear on that. The losing weight is just a side effect of trying to get fit and healthy. But yeah, so the month of October though, it can be demotivating when you have an entire month basically of activeness and eating right and still you don't lose weight. But I think it was probably muscle gain, especially in my legs. I have 100% noticed the difference myself physically with my legs. Like the strength in them, the definition in them, they are 100 times better than they were like a month ago. So it could be muscle weight, because muscle does weigh more than fat. So that's probably why I was just stagnant at 175. But anyway, haven't weighed myself in over a month, and we're gonna do it for this recap. And I've eaten today already. I've had breakfast. It's currently, I don't have a watch on, but it's around 11 a.m. But let's go do it. It's been a month. All right, let's do this thing. I was 175 the last time I checked. Okay. Interesting. Let me show you guys. Exactly. I don't know if you can see that, but it was 170 exact. All right, well, we're filming this part outside in the back garden. I don't know. Am I too far away? The bloody hell knows, man. So anyway, for this next month, what my goal is for December. So 170, let's talk about that real quick. So I genuinely thought I'd be less. Not like by a pound. I thought it'd be like 169, to be honest with you. And I'm not upset about it, but at all. Like I say, the weight is just a good side effect of getting healthy with fitness and being able to run, okay? I'm not doing this fitness to lose the weight. I'm losing the weight because I'm doing the fitness. But 170, like I say, I'll take it. That's £5 in a month. That's more than enough for me. So for this next month, for December's going to be a difficult one, right? There's a lot of food and candies and chocolates and all of that stuff. I've got bloody something in my slipper. Ignore the slippers, man. They're bright red. They were cheap, okay? Because of the fact that they're bright red. But no, so my goal anyway, let's just goal ourselves for the same thing for next month's weekly recap, and we'll see how we do. Let's shoot for 165. Now here's the thing for me, I'm gonna be just running and doing what I can and eat. Let's ignore that. Shall I take that out or are we gonna leave that in? I think this is a little bit more stable, to be honest with you. But no, for December, yeah, 165 I think is good. Like, here's the thing. So I've been fit before, right? This has been a rough decade for me, I'll be honest, just because I've just been lazy. But I've been fit before. I was fit before and I'll be fit afterwards. And the thing is, I can already know when I start losing weight. So here's the thing, when I used to run, do cross country, this is like high school though, but I think I was like 135 pounds, and that was skinny. I was like 4% body fat, but I was very, very active. I was doing cross country, so I was doing like 6 miles a day running, which is what I'm doing now, but not really in the same intensity. That was 6 miles non-stop, whereas now it's like a mile, and then a bit of hiking, and then a mile, so it's a little different. But I was also doing junior lifeguards, right? I was on the beach doing junior lifeguards for 5 hours a day, so 6 miles running a day. So like an hour and a half of running a day, and 5 hours of doing junior lifeguards, basically swimming and doing push-ups and running on a beach all day. So I was basically, and then I'd come home and work out. I'd go to the gym for 2 hours. So I was basically active working out for like 9 hours a day, which is impossible. I will never be in that shape again. And I'm fine with that, by the way. But I know for a fact, being as active as I am being currently and eating as healthily as I am, I'm still eating a great food, by the way. I'm not cutting back. I still have pizza like once a week. I still order Indian takeout like once a week. And I still cook every day, you know, pastas and things. So I'm not like, I can be better. And I think that's what my goal for December is to start eating a little bit healthier, like for lunch, having some salads and things. So that's my goal for December. The goal's not to get to 165, but that's what I think that I'll be at by the end of December. I think already I'm probably like 169 in the morning. Like I say, I've had breakfast today. It's like 11 a.m. But yeah, the goal is to start eating better, and I'll let you know how that's going in the weekly update videos that I'm doing. But I just want you to know that as I'm exercising 6 days a week and eating healthy, I'm probably going to be losing a lot of weight. But I'll always be tracking it and make sure I'm not doing anything unhealthy, making sure I'm eating enough calories, because like I say, I'm still eating great, or maybe even eating more calories because my body needs more nutrients as I'm exercising more. So I'm definitely not going to get to a point where I'm just turning into skin and bone, but we probably will see quite a lot, because I still have weight to shred. Like 170 pounds, that's a good weight, I'm happy with that. But I know running 6 days a week, like if I do this consistently as I'm planning on doing, I mean, running is the most, I mean, that burns so many calories, man. Like I know for a fact I'll just end up getting really lean, and I know that's gonna happen. So positive thoughts, we're gonna get there. Again, the leanness isn't what I'm going for, it's more for the health benefits. Like even just the other day, I was at a car dealership, and there was a car, I was looking at a car, and then there was another one, and it was about 200 yards on the other end of the lot. I could see it. And I was like, let me just go and look at that one real quick. And I ran over to it. Not like, I just jogged over to it. And it was, guys, it's insane. Just being able, like, I wouldn't have been able to do that a couple months ago. A couple months ago, I was blaming just my health on the fact that I was like, oh, you know, you're just getting older. Like I hadn't ran in months or years, like I say, like 15 years. I was out of shape. I was like, I can't run. I was running like, oh, like I just, no, man. And now after doing this fitness journey that you guys are coming along with me, it is night and day difference how I feel, mentally, physically. Like I say, running back and forth to that car, didn't break a sweat, wasn't out of breath at all. And I ran it fast, and like, it was just, I feel good. Like I feel fit, which is where we're going with this. So anyway, I think we'll wrap this one up here. Like I say, this is our first ever month recap. So when I edit it, I'll be able to see, okay, this worked, this didn't work. Next time, let's do this. Let's talk about this. And if there's anything I've missed, I'll meet you guys in my office to talk about it anyway. But if not, that's the end of this recap. That's the end of our first month. I hate wasps. That's our end of our first month journey together. And we've lost 5 pounds this month, probably more than that actually. I said I was 175, I think I was 177. So I may have lost, like, there's a wasp on the microphone thing. Oh, I think I've lost like 7 pounds this month, which is actually quite a lot, but I had a lot to lose. We've got fitter, we're able to run a mile without stopping. So this month's been great. I'm very happy with this month. But for the month of December, I'm assuming we're gonna probably hit 165. I wanna start eating better so I can look at our next month recap. We can look back at this and be like, did we do what I said? Eat better, have better lunches, maybe smaller portions during dinner. That's my problem. I have a big dinner, I can just half the portions, man, and it'll still be like 1,000 calories. I'm very fortunate. I don't have a sweet tooth. I've said it in some of the other videos. So I don't eat really candy or sweets or anything. Potato chips, I'm missing greatly. But it's fine, I haven't had them in a month and I'm not really craving them, but those things are amazing. I'm just waffling now. All right guys, I'll see you next month for our weekly recap, but I'll see you in like 3 days for our next week's fitness journey. So we'll see how the first week's gone. See you there.
Alright guys, I said I'd probably end up coming back to you guys in my office. This microphone's probably at least a little bit better. So there's a couple things I wanted to mention here before we wrap up this month's weekly or monthly recap. So first of all, as you saw in this video, I was 170 by the end of November. That is great, but I also completely forgot we had like 11 days where we were out of commission. So it was almost 2 weeks out of commission where I didn't run or walk or hike or anything. So 170 is actually a lot more than I would have thought I would have lost, considering we were out of commission for like 12 days. The other thing I wanted to mention, which is more important to me than the losing weight, is the health benefits. And I wanted to share that with you guys here today, because that is what's incredibly important and an incredible milestone for this month. So I just want to show you guys this. I need to figure out how to screen record. If anyone knows how to do it, let me know in the comment section down below. But this is the graph. This is my walking heart rate. So you can see where it says J. So that's July, August, September, October, November, December. So from when we started in like June, July, like that graph is exactly what you want to see. You can see on average how unfit we were, how high our heart rate was, and over the last few months of exercise, you can see as clear as day how our average heart rate has dropped. So that's walking. And this is our average calories burned. Like, look at that. This down here is like January of this year. You can see I didn't start until June where we started doing the treadmill. This big spike that you can see here, this is from when I went to Florida with my family and we were doing a lot of walking. And then next to it, like I said, we ended up doing... Oh, in September, I didn't really exercise, and that's where you can see it dropped again. And then when I decided to finally jump back into it for real, you can see since we've started, this is October, November, and December. This is another one that is super important to me. This is our resting heart rate. So our average resting heart rate. You can see when I first started tracking it, I bought this Apple Watch in July, and my average heart rate, just resting heart rate, it was actually higher than this shows. This shows the highest it was 89 beats per minute, just resting, just relaxing. It was almost at 90. But it was actually 98 for a long time. Just sitting doing nothing. I should mention, I say sitting doing nothing. I had anxiety. I've suffered from anxiety for literally like 10 years. It could have been to do with, drinking. It could have been from vaping. I know nicotine gives you anxiety. But I want to say right now, it is gone. I also started taking like magnesium supplements. I think that's actually relaxed me a lot. They're not prescription or anything, just over the counter. But my anxiety is completely gone. Like, I still get a little bit here and there, but for the most part, it's completely gone. So that high heart rate I had was caused by anxiety. And not only that, in my family, a fast heart rate, it runs in my family, basically. Like, I've always had a fairly fast heart rate. But I just wanted to throw that in there as well, because it is genetics and anxiety, which is completely gone. And when I say completely gone, that's from literally just this health journey I've been on. It's from cutting back on alcohol. It's from quitting alcohol, quitting nicotine, exercising, and I'm sure taking my magnesium too. But anyway, let's carry on. And now we're down to a resting heart rate of like 50 or like 65. So from like 98 to 65, that is just incredible. And the only reason there's a big jump there at the end is because we just started December, and it's literally, it looks like a big jump, but it's only gone up by like 1. So the average hasn't, I'm sure the average of December will be lower than November, but that is insanity. This is what's important to me, not the losing weight. This one is also really important. This is our walking heart rate. So obviously as we're getting fitter, you can see that graph again from July, how it's dropped. This is the graph you want to see. You want to be able to see it, just all your averages start dropping, especially in all the health stuff like heart. This is another one that's really important, but this is going the opposite direction, and this is cardio recovery. This is how fast you recover, and mine is slowly getting higher. This is the results that we want to see. So something I'm going to be working on, and we can watch this, we can track this together, is my cardio fitness. My cardio fitness is currently at about a 41, which is below average. Now, this I'm not too surprised at, but this is something that we're definitely going to be working on. So right now it's a below average, and I said mine's at 41, and in order for me to get above average, I need to be at a 43 at least. And then if I want to be like a high superhuman, it needs to be at 52. So right now, like I said, we're in the below average group at a 41, but all I need to do is gain 2 points and we will be above average. So that's something I definitely want to look at and see if we can. I mean, obviously, I would love to be in the high, but above average, I'll be great enough. I'll be happy with that cardio fitness if we can just get above average. So that's the most important one, but this is also the weight one you can see. So from July to now, we've gone from like 180 to 170. So that's like 10 pounds since July, which I'll take. But anyway, guys, I think that's good enough. So I'll see you guys with another one of these monthly recaps at the end of this month. But make sure to tune in on Sunday. We'll have another weekend recap. See you there.